Oh, hello. How's everybody? Happy Sunday, Sunday. We are kind of back. Last few episodes, some of us have been missing. We're kind of excited to be back together after several weeks of travel and other obligations. So we have a question for you. Carolina, do you want to pose the question that you just asked?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a girls' trip planned. Well, it's more of a girls' trip. We'll get into that. It's more than a girls' trip. But we're planning on going to a discotheque in Mexico. We're going to Puerto Vallarta. And
Yoo-hoo!
I literally texted the girls right now and I'm like, I'm having a dilemma. And Minu's like, what's wrong? What's the problem? She probably thought it was something like really heartfelt, like something serious was really happening in my life. And I was like, what does a 48-year-old woman wear to a nightclub in Puerto Vallarta? Because you can't really like dress like you did when you were 21 or 18 on your
But why
senior
not?
trip.
Who sets those rules?
I
Are
guess
we
I
putting
set them
those
on
boundaries
myself. I
upon?
just feel like it's inappropriate. I've never liked like those older women that shop at Forever 21. I'm always like, oh my God, know your place.
First and foremost, Forever 21 does have some nice 40-year-old appropriate attire. I have a couple of business dresses from them. Seriously.
No.
Seriously, I'm going to show you. I'm going to send you a picture and be like, oh, that is nice. It's just a brown dress. It's just got thick sleeves and it goes to above the knees. It's a business dress. Forever 21.
What kind of business?
Chocolate, business.
I haven't gone like dancing like to a disco in a while. And when I did, I would always wear like all black, maybe a skirt, but I always had tennis shoes. I've always worn tennis shoes because I really like to dance. And so
No, but
now
comfy.
going to Mexico, I'm like, do I have to wear heels because I'm over 45? So that's my
What's the
dilemma.
rule? And who wrote the
Yeah.
rule?
No heels for
Google
me.
said.
Well, a lot of the outfits that Google said, it was like showing outfits from Shein, which I will never shop from that. I don't
No.
want little 9-year-old blood on my hands. Have you guys seen those videos, those shorts where they show like the factories, a Shein factory?
No, but I do know about their history or their current, who they
Yeah, it's not
employ.
even
So
history. Yeah.
I stopped shopping at Shein.
Yeah.
What is all that about? I've never shopped. I've heard Shein. People say it's value for money, but what is it?
It's just essentially a sweatshop where they have people working night and day. In the videos that I've seen, they literally show women, children, men working on sewing machines like as fast as they can go, fingers like bloody, and then they show people like sleeping on the ground, and then their work is like right there, and then they sit up and they start working again. It's just a sweatshop.
Half of the
It's awful.
Asia is like that,
So
unfortunately.
anyway, that was so that's what came up on Google when I Googled what is an appropriate attire for a 48-year-old woman at a disco. And it showed all these Shein outfits. And like I said, like off the shoulder stuff, loose at the top, and then like short shorts or short dress or skirt. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Or they showed like really super chic, all black, like corset top, thick
Ew.
waisted pants, and then like straight legged and then heels. So I'm like, okay, that's super like chic and nice. Like I could picture Shannon dressing like that for sure because she's fancy like that. But for me, I'm kind of more like clumsy and sloppy and silly.
No, you're not.
It's kind of silly.
Club are you guys going to? What is this? Just you guys just wanted to go to a Mexican discotheque, or
Yeah, I just
somebody?
wanted to go out. So I asked my
With
coworker, I was like,
locals,
hey,
yeah.
let's go out, pick a night. And Friday night made the most sense. And so the people he's staying with are going to take us to a club. They live there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so totally down because going with locals is a completely different vibe. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
I say wear
I'm
your
probably just going to
sneakers.
wear a dress most of the time because sneakers, dress and sneakers.
Well, isn't that what all the cool girls are doing nowadays? Is wearing their fancy dresses with their Nikes or their Adidas?
Oh, yeah.
you
Look
know,
at Penelope's quinceañera. They were all dressed up in their little short dresses and they all wore Converse. It annoyed me, but you're right. That is the style.
that's funny you say that because it annoyed me too. Unless it calls for like when I went to the sneaker ball, unless it's called for, I can't get on board with that.
But then I thought it'd be fun to dress like straight country,
Do it.
like a
There
cowboy
are no
hat,
rules. This is what I love about this age.
short little white dress, and cowboy boots.
Somebody once said, when I was like, I just don't care at this age. And he's like, oh, you have no more fucks to give. Yes,
That's
I
exactly
don't.
right.
And so I will dress how I want to dress. I will talk to who I want to talk to. I will cut off who I want to cut off. I will keep in my life who I want to keep in my life.
I will shop at Forever 21.
I will shop at Forever 21 because I will be forever 21. Yes.
For business dresses.
Nice.
Well, we've had this conversation before about, like some of us are more comfortable like just doing what we want to do because we don't give an F anymore. But some of us, maybe Minu and me, that kind of rubs against the way that we were brought up or the way we think, good girl image, good girl persona. We don't want to break the rules. We don't want to step out of bounds. And then there's people like Lena and Scoopalicious and maybe Aaron and Sabby who are just like, whatever, I'm going to do what I want. Or that's just
I'm
who you are.
allowed to express myself. And if you want to judge me, that's on you.
Right.
Aaron, you can only control what's up here to the tip of your nose. And so, I can't live my life pleasing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I would be appropriately dressed if it was a business venture or if I'm at a wedding, those things are different. But and actually, I don't think I dress risky. Honestly, I don't. It's not like I'm throwing on booty shorts and but I just think that, what? Why can't I just be expressive in who I am?
Yes,
You
but
can.
there are rules to be followed, especially when you go for fine dining or you're going for a nightclub. So there is a limit to how much you should amend or break those rules.
Yeah.
Well, so what else has been going on, ladies, since we've all been together? You guys are going to Mexico. Mina, what's going on with you? How are the kids?
Everything is excellent. So far, so good. No complaints.
Has your son decided on uni yet? But what's he looking at? You mentioned Chicago at one point.
Yeah. Chicago, Arizona, Purdue.
And when does your daughter graduate from law school?
May.
It's right around the corner.
Wow.
Are you throwing a party?
We're going to have a busy May.
I have left it on them to decide because one is a social butterfly, the other one is antisocial.
What does she want? Would she like to have a party or would she rather go on a trip?
She would definitely like to have a party.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And P-Love is graduating. Mm-hmm. You're going to have an event on the 20th.
Yep. She graduates this year. We'll have to figure something out. Family's going to come in town, hopefully, and we'll have a good time. And my oldest daughter turns 20 in May.
Oh.
But she won't be home. She won't be home until a week after her birthday. So we'll have to do something. And then our mom turns 84 in May. 83.
Wow.
This is a big year for big birthdays. Like your dad, Shannon, turning 75, right? Our dad turns 75. Our mom turns 70. Our mom turns 82, 83. None of you are turning 50 this year, right?
No.
I think that's next year.
Next year.
So who turns 50 next year? Is that you?
It's me. Yep.
Yeah, we need to plan a trip. We got to do something.
Yeah. I'm going to put my butt in the sand somewhere. On the beach.
That sounds nice. Okay. Erin, what's going on in your life?
What's going on in my life? Our youngest went to prom this weekend, and that was really fun. They're all getting big, and our oldest got a puppy. Yeah, it's super cute. It's a little chocolate lab, and he is just a cutie pie. Yes. So, yeah, that's
With
really
really cute
what's going on in
eyes.
my world. Yes. Yeah, Lena got to
He's
meet
got
him.
the
He's
cutest
really
little
cute.
eyes ever.
Yes. So
How are they
I thought they
doing?
were totally crazy, but he's really cute and it's a good responsibility and, yeah, have a
Better than a
protector at
baby.
home.
Yeah.
Sorry. What do you want to know? Like I said, I've got my youngest daughter graduating high school. My youngest is finishing his first year of high school, and that's going really, really well. He's just really focused on sports and getting strong. Like any chance he gets, he'll just be like sitting here doing homework and he'll drop down on the ground and just start doing push-ups out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, yeah. And he just like pumps himself up. It's so funny.
For me. Go.
Yeah,
You
he
can do it.
does. He totally does. And then that way, when Big Brother comes over, he's like, Tristan, how many push-ups can you do? It's just really
That's
funny how they
funny.
try to like one up each other. And yeah, my oldest son was over here last night and it's just, my youngest daughter's not sure what she wants to do, but she's going to probably get like a nannying job over the summer. And, she started figure skating again, which is awesome. She gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she goes figure skating, takes her,
Oh,
and
that's great.
it's really good. She's getting super strong. So,
Wow.
yeah.
It's great to take care of do your thing, which you like, and focus on that.
Yeah. So, she's got her boyfriend and he's got that motorcycle and they went for a ride this weekend and that was fun. You guys probably saw the pictures on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. I
Mm-hmm.
did.
They're
Oh,
in
that's a tough
love.
age. Their love. Can we talk about that
Yeah.
a little bit? Not
Young
necessarily
love.
about her, but that young
Oh my gosh.
love.
It was so cute. Yesterday, one of her friends was over and I hadn't seen her since our Christmas party. And she's got like a boyfriend that they've been together. They're probably going on like, I don't know, 8, 12 months. And they're certain that they're going to get married and they were going to go to college together and this, that, and the other. And now she's staying in state. She's just going to do community college and he's going down to Colorado Springs. And right here last night, she's like, yeah, we're going to kind of do like the long distance thing. And I'm like, it's an hour and 10 minutes away. We're kind of going to do the long distance thing. And she was like, really like serious about it. Like, hopefully we're going to be okay. And I'm like, you guys are going to be fine. You both have cars. It's only like an hour away. Mr. Makita and I, we did Iowa and Colorado and Nevada. And yes, it was difficult, but we made it. Here we are. But it's just interesting, like these kids, how they really make plans for the future. They're really in love. I feel like when we were kids, we were just in love. Like we didn't really talk about the future. We were just in the moment.
Mm.
And now
Absolutely.
these kids really like are constantly like looking ahead
As a couple.
as a couple. Yeah.
Gosh,
Which is okay.
the father of my kids, we didn't at all. We met at 18, 19. I was 18, he was 19. Never thought about that. I mean, we thought about eventually moving to Hawaii where my sister lived. We made it as far as Arizona and that was it. Just not really making plans. Just, yeah, it was, and
Young love can derail your life.
absolutely.
Talk about that.
But I tell my kids that they were definitely conceived in love because I love their dad and I know he loved me. He has told my kids that he loved me very much. And I know he did. He thought I was a baddie. I was.
She said I was.
I was better than all those other hussies because I was
I'm getting my
class,
working
baby girl,
dresses at
high class.
21.
He was the only one I was messing with, so I don't know if I would call me, the high
You weren't a
class.
hussy.
I was the only one. I was only kind of.
Just a little
Depends
bit.
who you talk to. Depends who you talk to.
He was your only one. You don't know if you were his only one.
Oh no, he was not
Is
my
that what
only
you-
one. I was actually talking to his friend too, but I ended up being with him.
But I get that, Paula. I do get the young love derailing your life. I have talked to my youngest daughter about that. And, you can't expect that your love or your relationship is going to save the other person or help guide the other person into a successful future. You have to do those things for yourself. And there is a time and a place. I understand them like going out and taking risks and, doing things that you want to be doing at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And I've always told my kids, if you're going to do something stupid, hopefully it's before you're 18 when the consequences are small. Because as soon as you turn 18, oh boy, there's a change in making bad mistakes. Even getting a speeding ticket is different at 18 than it is at 16. So, the consequences are bigger.
Yeah.
So I get that.
what I think about too when I made that comment is that when it's your first love, it feels like it's the biggest love of your life. Like, this is it. This is my person for now and forever. And I guess I'll speak from personal experience. You like can stop the progression of your life for this so-called perfect love of my life, which may or may not be the case. I mean, maybe that was the case for you and and Aaron, Lena, but that's not the case, I would say, for 95% of those relationships, those childhood first love relationships. It's probably not going to be the one all be all love of your life. And I think that it happens often for young couples and maybe more so for young girls that they think this is it. And I think they might stop themselves from having further experiences, learning from other relationships, maybe choosing not to go out of state because he's not going out of state, or not going to school at all because we want to move in together. And so we're going to get jobs and we're going to get our apartment and we're going to have this, happy go lucky relationship. And I guess it's a little bit of the what ifs, how different could someone's life have been if they hadn't gone in that particular direction. And again, I'll just bring it back to myself. I did that. I was very young when I met the person I thought that was, my perfect match. I was 19 years old and decided to get married, and didn't continue pursuing my dreams, didn't continue pursuing my educational goals because he was the love of my life and love conquers all and I can fix him or I can make it better.
You sacrificed yourself completely.
And yes, I got my daughter who is the love of my life from that relationship, and my life has turned out more than okay. Life might have been quite different if I hadn't, shut the door on the rest of other possibilities because I was in love.
Funny when you say that 19 you made the choice, and I'm in my mind thinking, oh, I was just told to get married at 19.
Hmm.
No choice given.
It was, and
And what
Yeah.
would your life, what dreams did you have at that age? I'm sorry, Aaron.
no, yeah, okay.
Mina, what were you hoping for your life at that age, at 18, 19? What did you want your life to look like at that point in life?
I just wanted to know who I am at that age. What you're getting into the adulthood. You want to enjoy a little bit of freedom and figure your life out. No, like sometimes I feel now when I look at, I'm like, wish at that point the only advice I can give to my younger self is first to know who you are, be financially independent, have a career, and then think about marriage. I guess mine was all messed up. I've been dodging a fire from very young, and now I'm like, I just want to relax.
I wish I had joined the military when I was younger. I'd be retired right now, maybe
Mhm.
starting a second career, maybe just focused on my real estate. I'd be done. My 20 years would be done. And I would probably be 7 to 10 years into retirement at this point. And I remember my dad taking me to a recruiting office and telling me to join the Air Force because he was Army and he was encouraging me to join the Air Force. And I didn't do it. It was after Joseph passed away, before my other two kids were born. And if I could do things differently, I would have done that.
Mhm.
I'd be done. So
Time's such a funny
What
thing
about
when
you,
you're
Aaron?
that
Because you
age,
kind of had
too.
a young love too.
Yeah, I was just thinking time is such a funny thing when you're young. It's like you think it's so long. Like, what? I have to go to school for 4 years and
can't hear
so
you, Aaron.
far. Oh, you can't hear me?
I think her connection's bad.
Can you hear me?
Darn it. She's got a lot to say about this. I know.
I know she
We all
does.
know. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer about those young relationships, but I do, I get a little nervous watching my niece because I see my younger self. I don't want her to stop the progression of her life because she when you're that young and that first love is it's powerful, it's strong, and you're just convinced that love is all you need. And let's face it, ladies, that's just not true. Love is not all you need. Love can certainly make life better, but so can having a career that you love, or a job that makes you happy, or hobbies, or let's not kid ourselves. We need an income, being able to provide for yourself and eventually for a family, if that's the direction of your life. I want the kids that I love to have all those opportunities to go out there and discover what lights them up and what brings them joy, and what doesn't. And have opportunities to travel if that's what they want, and go try out for the Olympic ice skating team if that's what lights you up, or
Yeah, there's
go
so
be
many
a nanny
avenues.
in Europe. And there's so many opportunities, so many possibilities. And
I tell them they're too young to feel stuck. There's
yeah,
nothing that you should feel stuck in right now.
Well,
but
you guys know the young lady that I was talking about before we started recording. She's trying so hard to save someone else when she needs to focus on herself and save herself. Incredibly bright, incredibly smart, and stuck. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, look, there's so many opportunities out there for you, and I am here to help. How can I be supportive to help you get your dreams launched? But you can only do so much. What do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And like almost 30 years old and still stuck in this relationship. I wouldn't say stuck, but intertwined in this relationship that she's been intertwined with since high school.
Mm.
At some point, you got to say, got to put me first. And it breaks my heart because there are opportunities out there that are just waiting and stuck in this young love, or this have to be the savior. I have to, because I love him or have love for him, because we have children with him, or whatever we tell ourselves, we get stuck in this cycle.
Desperation.
or
Yeah.
also thinking that this is the love of my life and I'll never have another love like this.
Mm.
Lord, I hope that's not the case, because love shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that painful.
Yeah. But that's that feeling. I remember that
Mhm.
feeling, being 17, 18, 19 years old, and thinking, oh, it can't possibly get any better than this. Like, this is the love of my life.
I can't lose this.
I
It
can't,
will never
exactly.
happen
I can't
again.
live without this. Exactly. It's that fear too of there will never be another love like this.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is the societal stuff that we get exposed to, the love songs and the romantic comedies that, my love will make it better. Love conquers all. Love, again, love is all you need. And,
You
we
know,
get that magical wedding. And
I want to say, even at this age, and I don't know, Minu, if you feel the same, because we're both the single ladies here, I want that still.
hmm,
I'm almost 50.
Good.
I want that love. And I don't know if I want the marriage, but I know that I want the love. And I genuinely felt like I had that a couple of years ago. Um, Even my 9-year relationship, I felt like I had that, but I want that. And I wonder if that just, I don't know if it's embedded in us. I don't, because a lot of women, we're all different, right? But I still want that. I still want that love that I had when I fell in love with my high school sweetheart when I was 13 years old. I loved him. And even now at 47, I can say he was my high school sweetheart. And that was a different kind of love than what I eventually grew to a maturity, a different kind of love. Even at this age, I want that. Does it ever
okay,
really
but
go away?
can I
I hope
ask
not.
you, when you say you want that, define what that means? Because
Okay.
I think we get stuck in this romantic idea that media exposes us to. And, I've had this conversation with my husband because, yes, I'm a little bit romantic, but not like, like he's way more romantic, I think, than I am. And he has told me, he's like, I believe that love, that love in the movies. And I'm like, but that's not real, that's not real love.
But
We
why
see
can't
it.
it be at the beginning? Why can't you just be flooded with emotion and be on cloud nine and be full of glee and happiness? And then, because we all talk about the honeymoon stage, right? It's going to
Right.
transition to something else. But
It
why
is.
can't you have that? What's wrong with that?
The fear of the loss.
Is it sustainable? And I guess this is what it would be. You know what would be great is if we could find a couple. You know what, Carolina? I wonder if your in-laws, because they kind of have that.
Yeah.
If you think about the movies, and we recorded an episode that unfortunately I'm still working with Riverside on. We talked about the show Love is Blind,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't been able to air that episode because we're having editing issues. But I talked about how I feel like that show is very superficial because when they're having these conversations behind this closed wall, what we see, in my opinion, is very shallow conversations where they're not really getting into the nitty gritty of what real life is about. Because at some point, that romantic love gets put on the back burner because real life kicks in, because debt kicks in, because kids screaming in the background kicks in, because the toilet is clogged kicks in, because we have credit card debt kicks in, because we have an elderly parent who is sick, because we just got laid off, because I mean when I get angry, or you retreat when you get sad. Real life kicks in. And so that romantic love that we all feel at the beginning of a relationship, I don't know that that is sustainable because real life kicks in.
Does it need to be sustainable though? It's okay to still have that initial feeling because that's what releases all your endorphins. That's what that it's that honeymoon stage. And it might be sustainable in certain aspects. It doesn't have to be 24 hours a day.
But Shannon, let me say this to you. I mean, if that's what you're seeking is that initial
I'm
feeling,
not saying I'm seeking it I'm not saying I'm seeking it. I'm saying that I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting that in a relationship.
okay, so we want that. You want that. But what's going to happen? Okay, if you achieve that in a relationship, which you will at some point, when that fades away, I mean, are you then in it for the long run, or are you just chasing that initial feeling that you get at the beginning when it's new and it's exciting, and then once it's over, is the relationship over, and then you are again seeking that excitement, that joy, that orgasmic feeling of a new relationship, and then when that's over, then
No,
you move on to the next?
I think it matures. I think it matures into safety, it matures into security, it matures into comfort, that knowing that this is your person that you can talk to. At first it's like, he likes to do this, he likes to do this, and he calls me and he texts me every morning. But then it grows into something more beautiful. It grows into your friend. And that's what I'm hoping for. Even in our friendships, even in our sisterhood, you can get frustrated with your friends. You get frustrated with your sister. Um, and that happens in relationships. So for me, I think I have a lot. I'm wise and seasoned to know that that's not sustainable, but it's okay to welcome that initial first flood of these great feelings of meeting somebody new. And I've already had that. We are in April 26th, and I had that in December when I met, the gentleman that I met, and the initial feelings of conversing, having really great conversation, and just knowing that friendship was just going to remain as such. But I think we are older to know that that honeymoon stage is just that. It's a honeymoon stage. And the hope is it matures to something even greater and even more beautiful. That's the hope. That's my hope anyway. I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure. I want to know that this person's going to be there with me.
I want that for you, and I want that for me new, and for us who are in committed relationships too. Again, I'm thinking about my young niece, getting stuck in that initial excitement
Yes.
that at some point will start to fade away. And I think that this is where, again, a lot of women we tend to fall into this trap of thinking, because of what we see again on media, what we think that love should look like. And then once that feeling is gone, I think that could be why we see such a high divorce rate, such a high separation, relationships not working, because we've been deluded into thinking that love looks a certain way when, ask the people who've been married 20, 30 years will tell you a different story that
Well,
love. Go ahead.
Minu, you need to talk. We can't be the only ones going back and forth here, but I will say this. Your niece has had a great example of love, and she has witnessed a relationship that is still present. She's got a great example. And so I think that's for her, like, there's a reason why nuclear families are better, versus blended families.
Mhm.
And I hate to use the word blended, but having been part of a nuclear and a blended family, ideally you would like for your marriage to stay together, right? You want your kids to witness a healthy relationship. And we all have problems in marriage. I'm sure there's been some kind of conflict, but witnessing that conflict is good too. Because then they can say, I've seen my parents resolve this conflict resolution.
Mhm.
So I get what you're saying. I get the young love can definitely get you stuck. It could definitely get you stuck. But in some cases, it progresses and it grows and becomes beautiful to where you have 4 children, 25 years.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
There's
Shannon.
proof of it.
There is.
I do tell my kids often, it's not the argument that matters, it's how you get through it that really counts.
Very nice.
And, I try to stick by these little things in my mind, these little phrases that I kind of come up with, and I just try to stick to what I preach. And it's hard, but I do believe in love. I do believe that love is powerful because I do believe that we were created from love. And I do believe that we're supposed to behave in that manner. And I'm definitely guilty that I don't always behave in that manner. I don't always come from love. But I do think that it does make everything better. I do think that it can conquer all. I do think that if you have hope and that you believe in what you said yes to,
Mhm.
that you can have that longevity and that long sustaining honeymoon phase. We've been married, my oldest is 21, so we've been married 22 years, and I still get butterflies when he comes in the room. Like, he just got home and I was longing for like connection and like a hug, and
That's why
there
you went off
is
screen.
the second time. I mean, there's value in that. And like, they even make shorts about it, like on Instagram, like showing examples of women like reaching out to their husband when they come home from work and the reaction that the husband gives compared to when he comes home and you just keep working, or you're like, don't turn around from making dinner, or you give something else attention instead of acknowledging that he just got home.
Mhm.
The little things matter.
They do. They do. It takes effort to
See, I
keep it.
Mhm.
always say love at our age is not what it is when you are in love, when you're these and things. I think in our age, it's more living with each other's bullshit and, being consistent, rather than using big words. But if you can communicate effectively, you can be consistent. Always have this thought in the back of your mind that we are not fighting against each other, but we are fighting for an issue, but
For
we are one team.
Mhm.
If you have that clarity and you can, navigate through that bullshit, I think that's love in our age.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. It's because the tough days, we're not going to avoid them. But like you said, Lena, if you remember your vows, if you remember what you committed to, um, and like you said, Mina, if you can get past the BS comes up day to day, um, then yeah, you can have uh, a long sustaining love. And I think the romance is something that as we get older, we do have to work more on it. We do have to think about he really likes back rubs, or he really likes when, I make this meal, or I know she really likes getting flowers for no reason, or I know she really likes big fancy earrings and I find these and I bring them for her. We do have to put in that effort both ways. Well, ladies, we kind of went all over the place tonight. But
Circle back.
yeah, I think we had a good conversation about, young love and sustaining love and what love looks like as we get a little bit older. So thanks for your insights and your feedback. And audience, let us know what you think. How do you keep it? How do you keep that flame going? How do you keep the romance alive? And do you remember your first love? All right. Thanks for joining us. Happy Sunday, Sunday. We'll see
Happy
you next
Sunday, Sunday.